What has a Mr. Messy mug got to do with your confidence? Stay tuned to find out more. True Confidence with Jo Emerson, helping you plug into your true self and find lasting confidence. So, what does a Mr. Messy mug have to do with your confidence? Well, Mr. Messy, the mug, is in here at the moment, but he's buried under layers and layers of rubbish. Haha. And in the same way, your confidence is a bit like this Mr. Messy mug. You have confidence. You were born with confidence. Confidence is your birthright. Your confidence has just got buried under layers and layers and layers of rubbish. And my job here is to help you find it. And so step one in this process is believe you have confidence, that it's just hidden. Maybe you want to write that down. Step number 2 is to identify all of that rubbish on top of your Mr. Messy mug, all of the things that your confidence is buried underneath. And this tends to take the form of things like limiting beliefs. I should, I shouldn't, other people are better at stuff than me. You know, other people are probably better at making YouTube videos than me, but here I am. There's also fears. If I show someone who I really am, they might not like me. What if I speak in a meeting and people laugh at me? And fear plays a massive part of this, of course. And you could wrap all of that lot together and call it your inner critic or your gremlin. And I identified my gremlin way back about 10 years ago, and I realised it was having a field day in my life. I go into detail about this critic a lot in my book, but all you need to know for now is that that critic or that gremlin is fear talking, and it's a liar. It uses fear to tell you lies, and then if you believe those lies, you stay scared and you stay small and it stays in charge. And so the second step is to identify the rubbish on top of your Mr. Messy mug. That means find out who it is in your head, what it is in your head that's talking to you. What is your critic? Is it a gremlin? Is it a monster? Is it some kind of animal? Is it a colour? Is it a sound? You know what it is. Write it down. Step 3 is simple. Write down everything your inner critic is saying to you. So when I identified that I had an inner critic, to be honest, it was the first time I'd kind of realised it was there. Before that point, I just believed everything it said, and it was a bit like the sky. I didn't question its existence. It was just there, and I believed everything it said. But when I started to write down everything this critic was saying to me, I was amazed, and I realised I would never speak to another human being in the way I was speaking to myself. But the only way you kind of out it is if you actually spend time sat down, writing down what it says. Now, there are scripting sheets in my book, but again, you can just do this now. Write down what that critic is saying to you. I spent 10 minutes every morning and about 20 minutes every night for a good 6 weeks identifying what that voice was up to and what it was saying to me. So, step number 3, write down what it says. Step number 4, how do you feel when you believe all the lies that that critic is telling you? How do you feel? Again, get your pen, get your piece of paper and write down how you feel when you believe everything that critic is telling you. Maybe write it down next to the things you've been listening that it's saying. Ask yourself, how does this leave me feeling? That is step 4. Step 5, and this is where the fun really starts, because inside you, inside everyone, is a pool of wisdom, joy, love, peace, and it's the perfect antidote for that gremlin, that inner critic in your mind. And if you want to rescue your Mr. Messy from the bottom of the bin and regain your confidence, you need to start listening to your voice of wisdom much more than you currently are. So, for example, my inner critic might be saying to me, right now, you're no good at making YouTube videos, Jo. Other people are far better at this than you. And I could believe that. Or I could ask my wiser self, well, what do you think about this? And my wiser self might say, compared to who, and have a go and have some fun, and people might actually really enjoy what you're making. The point is, when I listen to my inner critic, I feel scared and crushed and I lack confidence. And when I listen to wisdom, I feel empowered and I feel able, and I'm far more willing to give new things a go. The final step is practice, practice, practice. The more you can do this, the better you will feel. I've been doing this work now for over a decade, and I still practice this technique because it works. So once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, the more you can do this, the better you will feel, and the more quickly you will boost your confidence. You could also go over to my website where you'll find a link to my book and my online course where I give you this system in a really big amount of detail, so you can go on there. At the beginning of my video, I promised you my kind of quick tip for confidence in the moment, and here it is. If I'm feeling a wobble, I ask myself, what would the most loving, wise, confident person I know think or do in this situation? And as soon as the answer comes to me, I choose to think or do what it is I think that wise person would do, and it changes everything. In the comments, tell me, what did you call your gremlin? What is your gremlin? What does it look like? Who is your inner critic? Let's kind of chat about that, shall we? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.